Welcome to the Accelerated Reality Masterclass. Creating your reality from within. That's what we'll be talking about at a very deep level today, okay? And I want to start off by asking you two questions. Number one, how would you like to realize more of your power as creator of your reality and accelerate the time between a desire and its manifestation? And number two, how would you like to become the conscious generator of your experiences rather than the victim of your circumstances? That's really why we all get into wanting to create our own reality and law of attraction and reality transurfing and whatnot. Because we find ourselves in a time of our lives where things aren't the way that we want them to be, right? I'm sure there was a certain negative time in your life or a hardship which kind of signaled you, which kind of led you into these teachings. And now you want to be more conscious and you want to learn more about how to consciously generate your experiences rather than constantly feeling like you are a victim of your experiences. So most people who get into this field of creating your own reality, most people struggle with three things. Number one is gaining control of their reality and consciously creating a positive, pleasant experience. Number two, gaining control of themselves, being in control over their own emotions, over their own reactions to external things, people, events, and gaining control over their own impulses and, destructive habits and negative behavior that they know that isn't serving them at all. And lastly, number three, overcoming their own doubts and limiting beliefs and negativity that they hold within, which continues to hold them back from creating the life that they desire. What you'll notice is this: failing to accomplish these three things will keep you stuck in a loop where you keep recreating a similar reality again and again, and you continue to feel stuck, unfulfilled, and unhappy. But that's not how it has to be at all. And you don't have to continue living your life like that. We are living in a very, very powerful time right now where people all over the planet are waking up to who they truly are. They are realizing that they can start to consciously create the reality that they want. And if you're watching this video, then you're definitely one of those people. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So as you may know, my name is Sunny, and I created Personal Mastery Quest just a little more than a year ago now. And I remember when I started my whole self-empowerment journey, right? My whole spiritual journey, my create your own reality journey. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I had no direction. I had no sense of what to do and how to start with this process and how to really become empowered, truly empowered myself, right? But there was just one thing about me that I knew that I could control. I was all in. I was all in on myself. I was all in on realizing more of my own power and knowing that I can create the life that I want. And over the past 2 years, I've experienced the biggest transformation in myself personally and my reality. I went from illness to amazing health, right? Having pain every single day in my body 24/7 for years and years to having loads of energy, playing sports again and living pain-free with just energy and vitality like I used to when I was a child. I went from having super low self-esteem and having a very negative relationship with myself where I constantly hated myself and my body and I always tried to be like other people, to being confident and outgoing and putting myself all over the internet for other people to see and just being secure about my own self. I went from being a lost college student to living my passion and owning my own business, which is still something that I have to kind of wrap my brain around. It's still kind of unbelievable, just the idea of it. So over the past 2 years, I've had some incredible experiences and I've learned a lot about what reality really is and how it works, right? And how we can actually start to generate our desired experience rather than living one that isn't really reflecting back to us the abundance that we desire, the well-being that we desire. And in this video, I want to show you how, just like me, you can change anything in your life. Matter of fact, you can change everything. Okay? So also in this video, in this masterclass, I want to share with you the biggest mistakes that people make in creating their own reality. The reason why people aren't able to create the reality that they truly desire. I'm also going to share with you the two things that people who live in accelerated reality do that others fail to do, which are very important. And lastly, I'm going to share with you the 4-step process which I adopted, which has allowed me to completely transform myself and my life. The process that has enabled me to go from illness to good health, from self-loathing and self-hate to becoming confident and secure, and from feeling like a victim of my reality to a powerful creator of my life. All right, so by the end of this masterclass, you will know what you're doing wrong currently and why you haven't been seeing the results that you truly desire. And you'll also know how to fix those mistakes and the next steps you should take if you really want to go all in on yourself and create the life that you want, just like I did 2 years ago. All right, so let's get right into it. One of the biggest mistakes that people make while creating their own reality is that they try to change and fight against their current reality. So what I'm about to say right now might not make sense to you fully, right? So don't try to grasp this with your mind. Really try to feel out the words that I'm saying. Again, words are just pointers. They lead to the actual meaning, the truth that is being said. So try to feel out what I'm trying to say, okay? Why changing your reality will never work for you is because you cannot change anything. You cannot change reality. You cannot even really create reality. And I know what you're probably saying right now is like, Sunny, what are you talking about? From a higher perspective, right? Which you have access to right now, which you have access to always through meditation, through becoming detached, through gaining a wider perspective on reality. Okay, so through a higher perspective, you do not actually create anything new. You don't actually create anything that wasn't already created. You have to understand that everything that you can possibly imagine, everything that could be, everything that was, everything that is, and everything that will be already exists. Creation, all of creation, within which lies anything that could ever be, is, or will be, everything already exists. Again, don't try to grasp this with your mind, but try to feel into what I'm saying. Creation is stationary. Nothing is actually moving or becoming or growing or, becoming something else or changing. It just is. Everything already exists. Anything that you can imagine is. What you want to create currently exists as potential. Just like the current reality that you're living right now, your current physical circumstances, they were too just at one point just potential. And then they became physical. Your consciousness started to project this current movie that you're watching, and you started to experience what used to be potential as your physical circumstances. And these physical circumstances will also pass, and you will begin to create something else. Something that currently just exists as potential, but will become physically manifest. In that way, right, understanding that everything already exists, you don't actually have to create anything new. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to fight against your current reality. Matter of fact, that's actually a waste of energy. Your real power lies not in trying to change things within your current reality, but instead choosing a new reality. And this is the revolutionary model of reality, which will, people will start to come up across more and more and more. And they will try to realize, they will come to realize this more and more and more. Because through this model of reality, you can actually create your reality. Otherwise, you just continue to fight against your current circumstances, your current reality. Okay, so to really put this into perspective for you, think of yourself, think of your life as a movie. You have a current movie that is playing, okay? Now, think of when you actually go watch a movie, right? Let's just say you watch a movie on Netflix and you're just sitting on your couch and you're watching this movie. Let's say you don't like the movie. Are you going to be able to change the movie itself? Are you going to be able to change the plot of the movie, things within the movie? No, right? You cannot change the movie. The movie has already been recorded. The movie has already been, it's already playing, right? Think of your life as the movie. Yes, in this way, your life is predetermined. There is fate involved, and you cannot change it. However, you can not change it only if you believe yourself to be the character in that movie. If you believe this movie to be the only thing that is. If you start to identify with the movie itself, not knowing that this one movie that you have playing out in your life, which we can call your reality, is only just one of the infinite movies that you have at your disposal at any time. But in order to make this realization, and in order to choose a different movie, you have to stop identifying with this little person in the movie who you believe to be the main character of your movie. And you have to stop believing in the physicalness of your actual circumstances. You have to stop believing that this movie is the only way that the only movie that exists and the only way that things can pan out in the future. Instead, you have to realize yourself as consciousness, the space within which this movie is being projected. You are the consciousness that is projecting this movie. Okay? Your state of being at all times is determining which movie you are playing. You cannot change what happens in your current movie, right? It's already been written. But you do have the power to stop watching your current movie and play a different one. All movies already exist. Matter of fact, infinite movies exist that you can possibly imagine. Whatever you desire also exists, and you have the power to manifest it. But you first have to stop projecting this current movie, realize your true nature as this consciousness that is actually projecting a movie, and then choose to project a new movie. So you realize how once you start adopting this paradigm, manifestation becomes much easier and well-being becomes much easier to create in your life. Whereas if you continue to fight against your current movie, you continue to create friction and problems and obstacles and a lack of well-being within the current movie. As long as you continue to battle yourself and your reality, you will never be able to consciously create your reality. You will continue to create a worse and worse reality. You will continue to unconsciously choose a worse movie, a negative movie, a more unpleasant movie. Okay? So that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make, is fighting against their current reality rather than choosing a new one. Now, the second biggest mistake that people make with creating their own reality is that they continuously fail stage 2 of manifestation. What do I mean by stage 2 of manifestation? If you didn't already know, which a large amount of people do not know these 3 stages, okay? There are 3 stages of manifestation. Stage 1 is what you can say, the phase where the desire is born, where you bump into your experience and you realize that there is something that you want. Now, stage 1 is quite effortless, right? You don't really do much work. You simply acknowledge a desire that has been born within you, and you make a decision that, yes, I'm going to go for this. Maybe you even start visualizing. Maybe you even start taking some action towards this goal. And you are really like all about, okay, I'm going to manifest this reality in my life as my life, right? And now stage 2 of manifestation is where things kind of get rough. And this is where most people fail. Now, stage 2 is where all your limiting beliefs and all your negativity that you carry within, the limiting beliefs that are not congruent with the new reality that you are trying to manifest, the limiting beliefs that you cannot take with you to this new reality, which will support the manifestation of your desire, which carries the manifestation of your desire, all of them start to come to the surface. And they don't come to the surface like as thoughts and ideas. They come to the surface as your physical reality. So you will start to see reflections of your limiting beliefs physically manifest in your reality. So let's just say your goal was to lose 25 pounds and you started to really, started going to the gym, you started eating really healthy, and for a couple of days it was going all well, you were super motivated. But now on like the fourth, fifth day, your partner starts to kind of question how you're actually, doing what you're doing. They start to question or challenge you a little bit, or make some slight remarks about how you've never been successful at this in the past, and you might not be able to be successful now, right? So that's like a physical manifestation of your limiting belief presenting itself to you. Or maybe you start to completely lose motivation to go to the gym. You start having some intense cravings that, you want to start eating all the foods that you used to eat, all the unhealthy foods. So you see, your limiting beliefs are really sneaky. They won't present themselves to you as ideas, although they might. They also do that. They will present themselves to you as like actual physical circumstances. People questioning you, or someone making fun of you or something like that. Or you encountering a challenge in your day-to-day life. That's a physical representation, a reflection of your limiting beliefs coming to the surface. Why do they come to the surface? Is because they have to be let go of. They have to be transcended before you can move to stage 3 of manifestation, which is realization, manifestation of your desire. You manifesting your desired reality as your physical experience. But before living that reality, you first have to transcend the limiting beliefs of your current reality, your current self. Until you do that, you can never move on to stage 3. And this is where most people go wrong. They never transcend their limiting beliefs. Why? Because when things happen and these limiting beliefs present themselves to us as these, challenges and obstacles, as phase 2, we react and we start to fight against them. So maybe your partner starts to question you and your new desire and goal of losing 25 pounds, and then you start to fight back and you start to argue with them. Or you lose some motivation to go to the gym, so then you just give in to your resistance and stop going to the gym. Or you start to have those cravings again, so you give in to those cravings. And then you start to think, man, who was I to think that I could lose 25 pounds? This never really works for me anyway. So what happened there is that your limiting beliefs showed themselves to you, and they pulled you back in to your old reality. Right? Rather than you going into your new reality by transcending those beliefs and overcoming them, you simply gave into them, gave them all your attention, all your energy, and they pulled you back in to your old energy state, your old reality. And now things don't change, or you start to manifest very similar realities as to your previous one. So you see how stage 2 is so tricky. But stage 2 is something that you have to go through and overcome, whereas most people fail to do this. So if you transcend those situations, you do move on to stage 3, which is manifestation. You have to start to look at this process as so beautiful, right? Because this process will bring your limiting beliefs to the surface. Creating your own reality is not for the average-minded person. Why? It is only for the people who are all in, who are willing to face their demons and overcome them. The average-minded individual is scared of their own selves. The average-minded individual reacts and gives into their limiting beliefs and their fears and their resistance. Whereas if you really truly want to create your own reality, you have to actually transcend these and overcome these by not reacting and giving into them, by staying firmly based in your new reality and embodying that new energy when these limiting beliefs come up to the surface. So ask yourself right now, are you all in? Or are you just kind of dabbling in this whole create your own reality thing? Really become honest with yourself about that. I hear people all the time talking about wanting to overcome their limiting beliefs, or they think that they have these hidden subconscious limiting beliefs that they have no idea about, which are holding them back from actually creating the reality that they want. Actually, there's no such thing as hidden subconscious limiting beliefs. Because as soon as you really start this process of wanting to live in accelerated reality, of wanting to create your own reality consciously, all of these limiting beliefs start to surface and they start to present themselves to you as physical reflections in your experience. So, ever wondered what you are carrying within, what subconscious hidden limiting beliefs you have? Just look externally, look outside into your life, and they will present themselves. And then what you have to do in order to move to stage 3 is overcome them by not reacting and giving into them and fighting against them, but rather simply transcending them. And there's a whole process for that we can't go into right now due to lack of time. But let's move on. Let's discuss the 2 things that people who live in accelerated reality do that others fail to do. All right? So people who live in accelerated reality are not physically focused. What does it mean to be physically focused? It means to constantly look outside at your circumstances, at your physical circumstances, and define them and label them and judge them. And, just always creating a meaning for them. Like, oh, this is good, this is bad, this is really positive, this is really negative. All right? So people who live in accelerated reality are not physically focused. In order to create a better future, you have to become an imaginative being, what you were created to be, what you are actually here to do, right? The point of life, right? You are here to create life, and you are here to create whatever you want. And in order to create something new, you have to be more imaginative than you are physically focused. Think about it this way. The contents of your mind, right? Whatever you are thinking, whatever you're feeling all the time, whatever you're imagining, and your state of being are what determine what you create, right? Those are your creative tools, your vibration, your state of being, right? And your thoughts and your imagination. Those are your creative tools. So that largely determines what is coming up next. Now, if your contents of your mind and your imagination is always focused within what's already happening. So if you are judging what is as bad and creating these worst case scenarios of what might happen, or you are defining something to be bad and using that as a reason to feel bad now and destroy your state of being now, then what are you going to continue to do in the future? You're going to do the same thing. But then what are you going to create as your future? You're going to create a worse future, or something that looks very similar to your current circumstances. If you are focused on the physical constantly, then you will continue to create the physical, the present, what is already manifested. But let's take this even further. Your physical circumstances that are presently there, right? So your present physical circumstances are what your past vibrations, your past belief systems, your past imagination created. Now, if you use the present circumstances to feel a certain way now and to derive your state of being from your present physical circumstances, which are actually just a reflection of the past you, like all your past state of being and vibrations and thoughts. And stay with me here. Your current state of being is what is creating your future circumstances. Then what does that mean? Okay? Let me just sum this up for you again, right? Just so you're completely clear and we're on the same page. Your past state of being created your present physical circumstances. And your current state of being is creating your future physical circumstances. But if your current state of being is being controlled by your current physical circumstances, which are just what your past state of being created, then what will you create in the future? You will create more of your past. And that's why you will fail to live an accelerated reality if you continue to be physically focused. This is why people continue to live the same life over and over again. Things rarely change. And when they do, they kind of just take a negative turn. It's because they're recreating their own past. They're allowing their past to control their present, and the present is always what creates the future. So they're, in a sense, allowing their past to create their future, and they become stuck in this loop. So you have to stop deriving your sense of worth and well-being by constantly defining and judging your physical circumstances, but instead deriving your feelings from your imagination. Be more imaginative rather than physically focused. Think about what you want to create rather than what is currently present or what you'd rather avoid. Now, the second thing that people who live in accelerated reality do that others fail to do is that they care more about how they feel rather than what is actually happening externally. So this ties right in with the first one, right? People who live in accelerated reality are more spiritually focused. They care more about their state of being than manifestation, than whatever is currently happening outside of them. The only thing that you could ever control in your life is you, your state of being, right? To the completely I'm talking about. The only thing that you can fully control in life is you. And people who live in accelerated reality realize this. Whereas most people continue to care more about what is happening, what their body looks like, what their current physical financial situation is, right? And because of that, they completely lose a sense of control over how they feel. So understand that you always have the choice of how you want to feel. It might not seem like that, but you always have a choice. No reality comes pre-programmed with a feeling attached to it. The feeling is your choice. Whatever might be currently happening, no matter how negative, no matter how much you are convinced that you are experiencing lack, misery, suffering, the feelings that you are feeling are actually all you. No configuration of energy, which is a reality, or no movie will ever come with a particular feeling attached to it. You decide which feeling you want to feel in any given moment. And this is actually, you realizing this more and more is a sense of you maturing in your spiritual evolution. Understanding this one thing right here will completely change your life, because you will no longer be the victim of your circumstances anymore. Rather, you control your state of being, which controls the future to a large degree. So if how you feel determines what is coming next, controlling your state of being equals controlling your destiny to a large degree. Wake up to the fact that you control how you feel in any given moment. Whatever challenges you in the physical is something that you have not yet transcended. So if you are serious about creating your own reality, if you are serious about living an accelerated reality, then you have to start to control and determine how you feel yourself. You cannot leave that to external circumstances and people and situations. That is all you. Okay? Wake up to that. Now let's quickly discuss the 4-step process that I adopted throughout the past 2.5 years that has allowed me to completely change everything about who I am and what my life looks like. So number 1, detach your identification with your body and your current reality. If you continue to believe that you are this main character in your movie that is currently playing, and that the movie is your entire world, that the movie is you, you will have little to no power to actually switch to a different movie. You will continue to manifest similar movies in your life, in your now moments, every single now, for the rest of your life. So the first step to really creating your reality is understanding your nature, your true nature, as consciousness, as awareness, the empty space within which your movie is playing, within which all experience occurs. Okay? That is where your true power lies. Your free will lies in you being awareness and you being able to project a different movie, not to try to change things within this current movie that you have playing. Number two, using the power of your consciousness and imagination, same thing really, to project a new reality. So actually assuming your own power and stepping into your power as creator of your reality. Not the small self that tries to change things within the current reality, but the higher self, the consciousness, and that imagination through which you have access to infinite parallel realities within this now moment and projecting a new reality. Number three, reprogramming your mind to become open to abundance. Here's the thing. No matter how great the reality you imagine is, no matter how many law of attraction or reality transurfing or accelerated reality tips you might adopt into your life, the change that occurs in your life will always have to respect your worldview, how you think life works, how you think you are and the world is, right? The change that you allow into your life will always be in proportion to what your worldview can allow. So if your worldview does not allow miracles, that truly will not become a possibility for you. Miracles won't be possible for you. If your worldview only thinks that money can come to you through this little job that you're doing, or through the government, or some other really standardized means, then truly that's the way things will be for you. Because reality has to honor your belief system. Reality will never override your belief system, how you think things are in general, what you think the truth is about life. So the third step is so crucial in creating your own reality, where you constantly have to reprogram your mind to become more and more and more open, to become more fluid, to become more of a vessel to allow change to happen rather than, always just protecting you from these miracles and changes that can truly happen for you if you actually reprogram your mind, reprogram your belief systems that you've been born with, that you were brought up with. Okay? Now, number 4 is constantly developing yourself and igniting the creator spark that you have within. Here's the thing. If you do not develop yourself in this life, and I'm talking about your physical body and your mental capacities, just your learning process, your development. If you don't develop yourself constantly throughout your life, you will begin to decline. You will enter into a degradation process, which you will slowly wither away until you pass away and end your physical experience. Don't think of this as a bad thing. That's just how things are in life. If you are not growing in life, you are declining. So if you are not actively seeking to grow and develop yourself in the areas of life that matter most to you, then change will be really hard for you. Creating your reality will be really hard for you. Your energy will always represent a low vibration state, which always will struggle to create the circumstances that you desire. By the way, the circumstances that you desire vibrate at a very high frequency, because that's the nature of pleasant experiences, abundant experiences. So you always have to develop yourself, and this creator spark that you have within becomes ignited when you do develop yourself and work on yourself and try to improve yourself in all areas. And then your life truly begins to unfold in a pattern of well-being, in a perpetuation of abundance. So, those are the 4 simple but very profound steps that transformed my life completely over the past 2.5 years, and will do exactly the same for you if implemented successfully. The only problem is, even though I just told you about the biggest mistakes that people make, you will likely make them again and again, and you'll do it unconsciously. That's just the way it is. And even though I just went over the general 4-step process of creating your own reality, you'll most likely still have a very hard time truly understanding and implementing it and seeing the results that you actually want to see. I say this because the mind, when it encounters these new truths, thinks that it understands them, but it really doesn't. The moment resistance hits, the mind goes right back into its regular reactive patterns. When it comes time to actually practice these teachings, the mind crawls back into its old habits and behaviors. But an intellectual understanding of these principles will never empower you. The only way to actually have them work for you is to realize these concepts at an intuitive level and make them a part of who you are. And that is why I created the Accelerated Reality Coaching Program, in which I personally work with clients one-on-one and closely guide them through this entire journey. In the program, I help clients raise their awareness, reprogram their mind for abundance, and I help them develop themselves into a new version of them that thinks, feels, and acts in a way that actually enables their desired reality to manifest as their physical experience. I walk them through the detailed process of how to detach from their current movie and project a new movie onto the screen of their awareness. Without the proper guidance and accountability, this process can be quite difficult and it can take a long time to figure out. In the midst of your daily routines and compulsions, I completely understand that these principles can be hard to assimilate into your life. But you don't have to do this all by yourself. Right now, for a limited time, I'm looking for a few more of my dream clients who I can help make the same transformation that I made in myself, but in an accelerated way. I'm looking to help someone who needs the guidance and accountability that I myself would have loved to have at an earlier stage of my own journey. So if we are the right fit to work together, I will help you through this entire process and help you become the person that you want to become and create the life that you want to live. But you first have to ask yourself, are you ready to commit to this process? Are you ready to be all in on yourself? Are you ready to step into your power as the creator of your life and gain access to higher levels of consciousness? Are you willing to transcend your doubts and limiting beliefs? Are you ready to detach yourself from your current movie and choose a different movie? A movie which you actually enjoy and don't struggle in? Are you ready to feel the freedom, peace, and joy that you once felt when you were a child? If you answered yes to all of those questions, and I do mean all, then I invite you to click the button below this video to see if you qualify for a free strategy session with me, in which we discuss how I can be of help to you and if you are a good fit for the program. Here's how the process works. We'll be focused on a specific and custom tailored strategy and execution plan to help you solve the two biggest problems that most people face when trying to consciously create their own reality. Number one, raising their awareness, seeing things from a higher perspective and learning to detach themselves from their current movie, their current self, and their current physical circumstances. And number two, reprogramming their mind to allow the abundance they desire to flow into their lives instead of constantly self-sabotaging due to limiting beliefs and just being reactive. This strategy session will take around 30 minutes and you will be speaking with me personally. And I'll be helping you identify where you currently are in your journey, what you are doing that is working, and what you are doing that is not working. And we will determine what next steps you should take to gain a more deliberate control of your reality and actually achieve your goals and your desired reality. So who is this for? This is for people who want to raise their conscious awareness and gain more control over their mind and their own reality creation process. This is for people who are tired of life feeling like a struggle and an endless battle and want to start feeling joyful, free, loving, and abundant. This is for people who want to overcome their negativity and limitations, level up their paradigm, and learn how to do less and accomplish more. And lastly, for people who want to step into their creator's shoes and gain greater access to their innate ability to create their reality consciously and deliberately so that they can finally create the life that they have always dreamt of. So who is this not for? This is not for people who have just started their self-development or law of attraction or spiritual journey. I would recommend that you at least have a fair understanding of reality transurfing or law of attraction principles. If you have just started, this might not be for you because this is truly the next step. This is much more advanced than the teachings that you kind of come across on YouTube or in certain books. This is not for people who make excuses and complain. And it's not for people who are stuck in information gathering mode and are not prepared to take action and get results. Now, knowing that we're a good fit is absolutely crucial because I like to get all of my clients' results and I like to work with them long term. But in order to do that, I need to get them fairly quick results. But the truth is that there are people who I cannot help. And if that's the case, I will be 100% upfront with you and suggest somebody else or an alternative. I'm only looking for those who are a good fit and who I am certain I can get results for. The first step is to complete an application for a private strategy session below this video. And this application is necessary to determine two things. Number one, that I can help you and I'm the best person to do so, to help you on your journey and to get you those results. And number two, that you are ready to step up, commit, take action, and do the required work to generate the results. Now, once I receive your application, you'll be able to schedule a time with me to conduct your strategy session, and this is where we really start working together. And we figure out what you want and how to make it happen in the fastest way possible with predictability. And at the end of the call, one or two things will happen. You'll either be a fit and I will extend an invitation to work with me as one of my clients, or if it's not a good fit, then that's totally okay too, and there's no hard feelings or obligations or anything. All right. Either way, you will receive an insanely valuable strategy session and will walk away with newfound clarity as to where you are right now and what's holding you back from achieving the results that you want. That together with the exact next steps necessary to take action and break through your barriers. It will likely be the most valuable 30 minutes you invest into your create your own reality journey this year. So go ahead and complete your application now, and we will see if we're a good fit to work together. Speak to you soon.